What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are doing the 54th installment of Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing my Gemini Jets 1:400 scale TWA Boeing 757-200. As you can tell by the pin, this is another one of the Airliners International acquisitions that I've made in the past 3 years that I've attended the show, and I will be returning for this year's show coming up in Atlanta, June 25th through the 28th. Being held at the Delta Flight Museum. Super excited to go there. Maybe my first time at the Delta Flight Museum, barring a visit beforehand, which is not very likely, but you never know. A lot can change in about 5-6 months' time, so we'll see what happens, but I do not anticipate making a visit prior to Airliners. So I picked this up. I can't remember where I got this from at the Airliner show in Chicago 2022. I think I got this off of DG Pilot, if I remember right. I think that's where I got this one from. But I remember when this got released back in 2021. I was definitely interested in getting this at some point, but I picked the SkyWest CRJ 700 that was released that same month, as I was more interested in the regionals back then. But eventually my interest in retro aviation would pick up, and here we are with this very lovely TWA 757. So starting off, we have the standard Gemini Jets box, normal details up here, Boeing 752, TWA, which is pretty much there's the same logo really as throughout most of the iterations of the airline. There's a pamphlet with all the aircraft information you can pause to read. And then the bottom of the box with the standard advertising stuff. Item number on this is GJ-TWA 1982, Gemini logo, image of the plane, and aircraft type. Don't collectible model warning, right side, same as the left and all that fun stuff. And on the back, a 2021 release, Boeing license and American license, since they own the licensing for everything under TWA. So this aircraft does have quite the interesting history, and we'll take a look at that here at the end of the video, but we'll take a look at this model first, which is very interesting in of itself. Because I think, yeah, Gemini did do this previously back in like the early 2000s, if I remember right. I think they did do another one beforehand, but if not, this is their first release of a TWA 757. I think they did do the American polished livery at some point too, probably around the time when the merger was taking place. They did do another TWA 75. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and take a look at this very lovely model. Starting off, we have the nose cone. Cockpit windows right there, and there's a little fleet code printed in the navy blue belly. L1 door, nose gear door, and the nose gear, which does receive complaints on the JC Gemini mold, and especially the nose shape. But here on this one, it's actually not horrible. It's actually pretty good, I would say. Then we move towards the L2 door with the one antenna up there, the trans world titles coming into view along with the globe. And then you can see the very lovely Pratt & Whitney engines coming into view. L3 door. And then the L4 door, November 725 Tango Whiskey is the registration, and then we do have the TWA tail. There's also a italicized American flag up on the top. And then on the other side, pretty much the same details over here. It does look like I may have had a little bit of a paint chip there in the time that I have since acquired it, so that's a little unfortunate, but nothing too major there, so can't say much. Luggage door back over there, and then another look at the TWA tail on that side. We'll go ahead and flip the model underneath where we do have the standard Gemini Jets logo, which the color has not been adjusted, but they did put a white outline around it to make it easier to see. Although, you know, I kind of have my opinion on the branding underneath the models, so, you know, I've gone over that many times before, but only the stand hole is in there, and then the Gemini logo and the printed details. On the top of the aircraft, we do have the black stripes for anti-ice prevention, just for, you know, anti-ice stuff and all that, which most of the TWA aircraft had. MD-80s, 727s, 767s, pretty much everything that TWA had. I don't know if the TriStars had them, though, and the 74s, like the wide bodies, but definitely all the narrow body aircraft, they did get those black stripes on the wings. And they do look pretty cool, and they're the only airline that I know of that actually did that. So now let's take a look at the real-life aircraft's history, and unlike most TWA 757s, this did not end up with Delta. This aircraft first flew on September 14th of 1999, and it was delivered to TWA at the end of that year. Only it lasted with them for 2 years before the whole American TWA merger took place in 2001. She lasted with American for a couple of years, but because the 757s for TWA had different engines on it, among other logistical reasons, because the American 75s had the Rolls-Royce engines, and then, as I mentioned, the TWA 75 here, all of them had the Pratt & Whitney engines. They didn't last very long in American's fleet, so she went to Shanghai Airlines in November 2003, re-registered to Bravo-2850. She then stayed with them for over a decade and then went to Nordwin Airlines next in April of 2014, re-registered again to Victor Quebec-Bravo Tango Oscar. Then she went to Tajik Air in October of 2015 and again re-registered to Echo Yankee-757, how fitting of a registration. And then her last operator was Azure Air, starting in April of 2017, registered as Victor Papa-Bravo Yankee Charlie. She was then re-registered to Romeo Alpha-73473 in May of 2022. And her current status is that she is currently stored in Moscow as of 2023, so likely being used as a spare parts aircraft due to the ongoing situation in the country. And that will do it for this episode of Retro Reviews, continuing the grind as we move further into 2025 in Week 2. Let's keep going at it. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.